Hi everyone, this is Mrs. Torigno, and this is the corrected version of the page 3 video for the Algebra 1B Chapter 3 test review. I'm sorry that there was something going on with this video last night, but hopefully this will be enough to help you out before your test today. Okay, looking at number 15, it says a scuba diver is 40 meters below the surface. So right there, what I want you to catch is that if you're below the surface, that's like a negative 40. Okay? And then the word ascend, in case you didn't know, means to come up or to come up to the top. So that is a positive 0.8 per second. So when I go to write my equation for letter A, my total distance from the surface starts at negative 40 and then it increases by 0.8 meters every second. Whoops, I meant to use S there. Okay, so your equation there says D equals negative 40 plus 0.8 S. That is an S. Okay, and then in letter B, it gives you 10 meters. Your job is to decide, does that go in for D or does that go in for S? Well, 10 meters is a distance, so that means I'm putting it in for D. That's going to look like this. 10 equals negative 40 plus 0.8 S. I would add 40 to each side so that I end up with 50 equals 0.8 S. Slide this up here. And then just divide both sides by 0.8. And I believe the answer comes out to be 62.5 seconds. Okay, so really once you get the equation set up with that one, it's just a matter of figuring out where to put the 10. Okay, looking at number 16, the first thing I notice is that it's giving me some pairs of numbers. It's telling me that 0 degrees Celsius matches up with 0 degrees Reaumur, and 100 degrees Celsius matches up with 80 degrees Reaumur. I hope that I'm pronouncing that right. I don't honestly know. So I'm going to take these and turn these into coordinates. I'm going to make this 0, 0 as one coordinate, and I'm going to make 180 as the other coordinate. And just to keep straight which is which, let's remember that the way this is written, the Celsius temperature comes first and the Reaumur temperature comes second. So really my ordered pairs are written like this, C, comma, R. That's going to be important in just a second. Okay, so don't worry about that right now, but I'll come back to that. Now I can find a slope between these 2 points. So I can do M equals 80 minus 0 over 100 minus 0, which really works out to 80 over 100. This situation would be one where you could do a decimal as a slope, so I would get 0.8. If you left it as a fraction and left it as either 8 over 10 or 4 over 5, that would be okay too. So now that I have my slope, I can use point slope form to write my equation. This is actually going to be a really easy one once you start plugging things in. Because if you notice, I have one coordinate here that's all zeros. So I'm going to use that one as my y1 and my x1. That would leave me with y minus 0 equals 0.8 and then x minus 0. Y minus 0 is just y, and x minus 0 is just x, so this is really just going to come out to be y equals 0.8x. Okay? The reason I said I wanted to come back to this, the C, comma, R, is it says to solve it for R. Usually our equations we solve for y, so this is telling us specifically that we want R by itself. But the way we wrote this so that R is in the y position. So really, this is solved for R. Because I could rewrite this and say this is R equals 0.8C. So I'm just using the C and the R instead of the X and the Y, and this is solved for R. So that's the only reason that would be important, but I would take either one of these answers, the Y equals or the R equals. Okay, let's look at number 17. 17, Jenny gets a job picking up trash in the school hallway, paid $50 a week, but she loses 5 cents for every scrap of paper found in the hallway when she's done. So we're writing an equation for her total wages. So that means I'm going to say W equals. Her total wages in 1 week starts at 50, but then she loses 5 cents, and be careful, 5 cents is 0.05, for every scrap of paper. So again, her wages are $50 minus 5 cents for every scrap of paper. And that's all this question was asking you for, was to write the equation. Okay, 18 and 19. Be careful with these. It says to put them in slope-intercept form. So some of you might go crazy trying to find the slope and find the intercept and all that, and that would work. But remember that slope-intercept form just looks like this. And the important thing to notice about it is that the y value is by itself. So really all I have to do with these equations is get y by itself. I can do that by adding 8x to each side. So I get 2y. And I'm going to write this with the 8x first, just because that's how my slope-intercept form looks. Okay. And then I'm going to divide everything by 2. And that would work out to be y equals 4x plus 6. And there we go, we're in slope-intercept form. So that's all those are asking you to do. Number 19. First thing I'm going to have to do with number 19 is get the y's together on one side. And it'd probably be easiest to take this y and add it. So I'm going to add a positive y to both sides. So I ended with 5x equals 2x plus y is 2y. So now I have my y's over here. I'd like to get all my x's over here. So let's subtract 2x. Subtract 2x. And I'll move over here. I end up with 3x equals 2y. Now just be careful here about which direction you're going to divide in. We're trying to get y by itself, so that means I want to get rid of the 2. So I'm going to divide by 2. And my final answer would be y equals 3/2 x. The place I see people getting confused on this question is when I say solve for y, that's different than finding the y-intercept. The y-intercept is when you plug a 0 in. But if I just say solve for y, I don't want you to mess with the equation at all. I don't want you to change any of the values. I just want you to move it around so that y is by itself. So just pay attention to that. If it's asking you for the intercept, for the y-intercept, you would put a 0 in for x. If it's just asking you to put it in slope-intercept form, don't put any new numbers into your equation at all. Just move it around. Okay, good luck today.